Let's rock and roll.
All right,
Lead
here we
on.
go. Let's have fun.
Yep.
How do I get out in front?
フライインイベントアラスカ。今回のイベントは、ゴールドラッシュと名付けられています。DC-3 のパイロットが、当時の様子などをガイドしてくれます。
And yeah, don't forget your landing gear.
当時の様子部分は、別編集で次の動画にする予定で、字幕付きにする予定です。
Yeah, Tolstoy.
Yeah, I know.
氷河に着陸したり、当時使われていた滑走路、今は空港 ID がない滑走路に着陸しますが、このような機会がないと、着陸することがなかったでしょう。ホストに感謝です。最後のレグは、気象を雪に設定して、当時の様子を体験します。別動画は、そのあたりが主な部分になると思います。TBM なので、高度を上げることも可能ですが、それほど上昇せず、川に沿って飛行していきます。
My internet connection comes and goes. You might see me disappear, but with any luck, I'll always come back.
ホストは、時々ネットが切れて消えます。
We'll wait for you.
今回のイベントは楽しく、最初の着陸地点から、滑走路ではないところに設定されてます。
We have to. We don't know where we're going.
There must be a couple of you that have the map, but yeah, no, certain things are not marked, I must admit.
それでは、以降は無解
That's
説
what
で
we're
す。
looking forward to.
I see one airplane, November 696, Romeo Foxtrot is still in the airport. Are you having difficulties back there?
Well, first of all, I loaded the wrong plane, so then I rebooted, and I found out that I had to take part of the end extension off of that flight plan of yours. It had 2 PLNs on it for me.
Yes, yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, it should have still opened, like, because I was able to open it in Notepad. But the thing is, I went and I corrected it, but I never went back on the forums to upload it. I had it uploaded here in the Discord. So yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, mate. I'm always running late anyway, so I'll try to catch up. No worries.
Okay.
You can slew.
I hate slewing.
I understand.
Yeah.
Somewhere and I have to get upright.
I got a nice video of all these TBMs taking off together.
Nice.
I'll pop them up in my Google Drive and give you a link later.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Awesome.
I charge a fee per appearance.
Sorry, a fee for
Appearing on the video.
yeah.
He charges an appearance fee, he said. I guess I can't upload it after all.
I'm just starting to lose some altitude and get down to like 1,000 feet because our first little landing opportunity, you might say, is coming up.
Okay.
In about 8 miles for me. I think there's some people ahead of me, but they might beat me. Well, they'll beat me to it. But anyway, we're going to be landing. There's a little spit of land that you can probably start seeing right about now. A little spit of land sticking out in the water, and on the far side of it, there's a beach. It's plenty long, but kind of thin. So it won't be a problem landing. honestly, the challenge is turning around in the limited space available in order to take off again. But you can do it.
Landing gear.
Sink rate.
Pull up. Pull
It's just
up. Pull
it's got a
up.
slight curve
Pull
to it.
up.
The beach.
Pull up. Pull up. Landing gear. Landing gear.
So it's got a curve to
Landing
it.
gear.
It's
But
Landing
where
gear.
Waldo and
Landing
where
gear.
and
Hey
now.
that's another good
Landing
place
gear.
to turn around. Hey,
Landing
you
gear.
spread ourselves out a
Landing
bit.
gear. Landing gear.
Oh, I better watch what I'm
Landing
doing.
gear.
I'm working. I'm trying to
Landing
work my
gear.
laptop at the same
Landing
time.
gear.
We stop and get a
Landing
little
gear.
fishing here.
You know, all this
Landing
stuff
gear.
that I'm
Landing
going to be
gear.
blabbing
Please
about,
drop
it's
a
not
line.
all from memory.
Oh,
Yeah. So I do have to make the odd reference to my notes.
You're doing great so far. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So you probably see little spit of land coming out. So one of them just fly overhead that, kind of heading inland up the inlet, but just to take a look. In other words, just to take a look at the landing area, the landing surface, and we'll turn around and come back in. Try to bring my gear land instead of setting the parking brake. It should be interesting with all these airplanes. There's not much turning space, but there are
This is
there are
gonna be
two
a
or three kind
close
of areas
quarters
where
here.
the trees kind of open up a bit. So you can spread out just as much as you want. Wherever you can find a place to turn around, do so. Differential braking. There's plenty of room for the takeoff, especially if you go further behind me. Am I kind of in the way? Let me try to back up a bit. If you haven't flown the TVM much before, it takes a long time to slow down.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
We could camp right up here in these trees and stuff, party like crazy, and then just fly the planes out of here. This is perfect.
Kind of pass the far end of the beach.
Make
No
sure
one
you're
will ever
sober
know
while you're
under
flying.
my left wing.
Landing gear.
Yeah, but Winterbane's catching up.
Sardines or oysters?
We'll wait for once we.
Yeah, it's probably got to be all sorts of goodies in this water. I see Casey Pilot coming in,
Am I going for the right one here?
doodling me.
Who is speaking?
Oh,
Veer?
It's
how do
Veer.
we say his
Yeah,
name?
it looked like it. It looks like it from my point of view. It looks like you're lined up. Looks like you're heading about 240, more or less.
225, but I'm a little off center right now.
And Veer is that's. I was calling him Viber. For this
Viber.
So anyone that can see where Veer is, then gun pilots following him. They're landing on the beach, just on that point of land.
Stall. Stall.
Ah, I got it.
As long as it wasn't grinder.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Easy
Landing
peasy.
gear.
Yeah, it's good and long.
You weren't wrong, it does curve quite a bit, so be careful with that.
In the water.
Is this salt water or fresh water?
Well, this would be salt water.
Join in.
Oh dear.
RC Pilots told me he
A
has
little late.
RC planes that have
Hey,
float.
Golem.
So.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, Golem. Just,
Yeah, Golem.
Yeah, come on, make your way over and we'll
This one
continue the
doesn't-
party.
I don't see any.
Be there
Romeo
eventually.
Foxtrot
In-game still
coming
got
in
to
pretty
load
soon.
and stuff. Totally
Okay.
blanked out on the time.
I see it's landing lights, so it's not that far, not that far away.
Too busy.
I'm in the same boat. Here comes Winter Band.
Too busy not paying
I'm
attention
stuck
to
in the
anything.
quicksand.
Pay attention to something.
What airport are you all at?
Well, this
It's a
This
beach.
is an unmarked beach. You're very, very generous calling it an airport. But I'm amazed that it's accommodating so many TBMs.
Maybe I'll meet you at the next stop then. What's your
Careful with the water there.
Yeah, okay. The next
That's a little
stop
thin.
is Petersburg, which is Papa Alpha Papa. There's also just a minute, I can't see where I'm going.
Should we set for winter conditions?
No,
Old
not
and
yet.
slow's not going to land?
Yet being the operative word. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna bank off to the.
No, it's on comms. To the right.
Well, to the left. I'll make a snap. I think we're going to the left.
Nice. We'll go
Hey,
left around on the water side.
Yeah, we're going to go
Okay,
on the
got a
water
couple
side and we'll
things
go
waiting
inland on the way to
tomorrow. And then
Wrangell.
maybe Friday night.
Yeah. So we'll go to the left. We'll follow the coast.
Maybe.
Oh.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Face reveal.
It should have been.
Well, I'm glad that wasn't part of tonight's deal.
Yeah.
Should have been.
No, I mean,
Viewership
for
would have
me,
went down to 0.
yeah, no, I mean,
How
my
you were when
face.
you were flying real planes still.
Should have been
This
for
is frightening,
Halloween.
dude.
Yeah.
You got the
Passengers
makeup
in the
girl.
back.
You got
What
the
have you
makeup
done?
girl coming in,
Yeah,
bing
but
bing to
I've
bing bing
tried to work
popcorn
this,
to powder
which is
your
the
top
best
of your
way to
head.
go.
Yeah.
A
I'm gonna
number
make
of
sure I
times.
shave the top of my
And-
head first.
And one thing I forgot to mention, I don't know what
Folks,
time
everybody
you
that
guys
enjoys the
have set,
flying-
but
His last flight here, right?
sometimes I
You
found the
don't
sun was
have
in the
to
way.
look at sizzling. He's gonna be on a camera.
Having it real time right now.
Stuff.
It's
You don't
nice,
have to look.
sort of
You can still
early
just fly
sunset.
the community
Okay.
stuff. You can look.
Well,
I want to see what he's going to look like after all that toilet training he's been doing.
yeah. We,
Yeah, I got
we
this
actually halted the toilet training
Got to set
because he never wanted to go on the body. He's too
Really,
scared of it.
really tricky thing to accomplish.
Yeah.
Lots of failures and a few successes.
Yeah, he doesn't understand the concept yet. But he
So,
understands
like, what about your son?
going on
How's
the
he
couch and peeing is
So now that we've got
he
this
likes
direction, let's
that.
just cut
So
up over
we put
towards
the diaper
right.
back on him.
Yep.
And,
He's a little confused, but he's got
the
the
rest of the way.
spirit.
I really
That's the,
didn't
that's the
do much.
campground freedom he'll never get over.
Yeah.
It's only because it
Sorry.
makes for a nicer ride over there
Wrangell, sorry?
in Petersburg. Yeah, sure. Let me get back in the cockpit. So we'll just kinda
Your kid will let you
jaunt
know
up
when
this,
he's ready to do all that stuff. He'll say.
over the slope.
Yeah, he'll say, I need to do poo-poo.
Yep. You try to push them before they're ready, dude. It back. It messes it up every
Appreciate you
time.
guys waiting for
Just
me back there,
let them
guys,
show
with
you,
that
man. It's
novel
cool.
crash I
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when we take off here, let me consult my
thought I'd land in behind
Plan.
you and sneak up. And sure enough, there was all these TBMs in my way to slow down.
120 degrees.
Looks almost directly out.
Oh, yeah.
It's too bad there isn't collision. Then we could just act as crash barriers.
Yeah.
He probably
These
has a
are really
surprise
good
for us
short-tail
on the way.
landings.
Someone goes, I'm alright, I'm coming in a little too
That's
fast.
glacier.
And just gets on the runway.
Thinking it's crab legs.
Oh shoot! I've just little lost bit my of, connection again. It's going to be like this yeah, all day,
over those
but I can
hills.
still fly.
wait.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
wait.
it.
It's okay. I can still fly. I just I get
Mhm.
that notice.
Yeah, with the damage on, you could have like a war. You go and you spawn in to an area where there's a group flight, and you start taking down the planes. How many can you take down?
Do some dog fighting.
Yeah.
I bet you that's the only reason they don't have it in there.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Still remember that old square background in the earlier flight sims with the biplane fighting.
So let's just clear this little set of hills that will dip down into the valley and make our way towards Petersburg.
Okay.
Which reminds me, I'm going to see if I can fly and post something here. Oh, let me change my mouse. This is not a good idea. I might be biting off more than I can chew trying to do these things all at once. Here we go. I'll keep one eye on that screen and one eye on this one.
This is what Sizzling Popcorn does every day.
That's true. Maybe so I'm going to try to post something here in, no, that didn't work.
Oh, the live weather's awesome here because there's fog in the valleys.
Is there?
Yeah.
I might have to turn that on just for fun, see what it looks like.
Yeah,
Might
it
make
looks
some of
pretty
the
good.
landings pretty difficult, but we'll see.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so.
But zooming around here with head tracking is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's cool.
Okay,
What run
so
might
we
be
are now
running?
heading towards Petersburg,
Landing gear.
and
Landing gear.
their town has a motto. Their motto is Little Norway, Big Adventure. As you can probably guess, there's quite a lot of a Norwegian background to the town. It was named after a Norwegian. His name was Peter, last name Bushman, but I guess they decided to call it Petersburg. Anyway, the town has flourished as a fishing port for a couple hundred years, and I found it interesting to read that icebergs located nearby provided, I should say, icebergs from glaciers, which are provided located nearby provided a
Landing gear.
a natural source for cooling fish, and they took advantage of that fact. Canneries were built, and those canneries are still in operation today. So I'm just going to head towards the north over the water to slow down, and we'll come back in and land on runway 23. Sounds about right. Look like there's a few people waiting for us already. That's nice.
Those are the overachievers.
The overachievers.
That's a nice view heading to the far side on downwind here.
Did anybody else think this was a missed opportunity to call it Peter's Bush?
I've had too many other things in my mind to consider that. Yeah.
Just rolls off the tongue, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
the
server
shooting.
are you guys on?
Southeast Asia. There's got a fog layer on the ground here. Might have to shoot an ILS.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Which probably doesn't have an ILS.
Alright, here's my first landing of the day.
It's funny, the fog's only on one half of the runway, so it's best to land on 2-3.
Ooh, jeez. As soon as I started going for a final approach, my frames just killed themselves, so that was terrible.
Yeah, I think Friday I'll go back to the 3 screens, because like here I want to bank in, but I can't see on my right. I have to flip it to the right.
Woohoo! I felt good about that one.
Do you have a hat on your yoke that you can use to turn the camera around?
Yeah, I do. But when I come back to my original view, back into like the straight ahead, it's too close. It's like it's over the dash. So,
oh, okay.
While everyone is getting set up for their arrival, as I mentioned, Petersburg has a Norwegian influence, and they celebrate their Norwegian Constitution Day with 4 days of festivities. If you were in Norway, you'd find that in Norway they only celebrate 1 day, so I guess here in Alaska they really like to do things over and above. So any of you that have a free moment, I've posted a photo for us. They're heading off on 05, I think, is banking to the left, and the community flight chat just so over that direction. It's not terribly exciting, but it does say the word Norway, so.
I like the little flag they've got there.
All these airplanes. Yeah.
Norway.
Cool.
Plus, it's a little Viking boat supposed to be.
You got a
Like
Dodge
hornet's
on.
nest.
That's great.
I did a charter in a DC-3 here to Petersburg.
Surprised I didn't hit anyone during
One
that
time
barrel
only,
roll.
but we had time to go into town and see the sights while we're waiting for everyone, so it's kind of fun. let's see. Are we all here?
Down the other end.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. We can.
Tolstoy,
we
did you
can
say you
take off
flew a
either
real
way, but we are
DC-3
going to,
into this
I mean,
actual
those
airport?
of you at the far end, is probably the better anyway. But I just like bending
Now
over
you're
and taking
leading
a
a
look at
bunch
the
of
town as I go
nerds
by.
on their computer
On
to
this one,
properly
we're
fly
going
there.
to take off and
Oh,
head.
buddy, I'm sorry,
Head
man.
kind
I'm
of
sorry.
northwest, you guys. If this
little arm
game
of the water
had the DC-3 as one of the
on the map,
airplanes,
and
you better believe that's what we
that's how
flying
we're
right
gonna make
now.
our way towards
Wrangell. So if we're all set, what we blast off, and so we're just going to curve kind of away from the flight plan line over the water, following this little line of water, and then we'll turn back towards Wrangell.
Okay.
I guess since we have a moment, I could say a little bit about Wrangell. First of all, the name came from a Russian officer who was stationed there, and that's how it got its name. So even though the town was founded by Russians, a couple hundred years ago or so, this area has been inhabited by the indigenous people, the Klingits, for 9,000-10,000 years. So long time. So the native people, the Klingits, they named this area of Wrangell, once we get there, they named it Little Lake. And they named it that because the harbor near that town, or village at the time, I guess, before it was dredged in the late 19th century, the mouth of the inlet would often go dry at low tide, and I guess it kind of looked like a lake at that point, and so they called it a lake. They called it Little Lake.
Cool. Cool story.
Well, I guess I can continue talking about the Russians. Let's see. Let me just move my map for a sec to make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, this little body, this little inlet of water that we're flying over right now, to the right, to our right, is oh shoot, I forgot the name of it already. Oh no, it's Kuprianov. Yeah, to the right is Kuprianov Island, which is where Kake is, and on our left-hand side, which is the side that the airport of Petersburg is on, that's a separate island altogether, and that's Mitkov. So again, quite the Russian influence there. So we've taken a turn down a little spit, heading kind of eastbound towards Wrangell. And let's see. I guess we're not
make a flight plan for this.
What's that?
Thank goodness you didn't make a flight plan for this.
Well,
too many of us will be following it.
Well, I thought actually, in retrospect, I thought maybe I should have, done each and every little turn. But I must admit I didn't quite nail it down which direction I wanted to go around these little, the islands or whatnot. But I'm just trying to mix it up with some ocean flying and some inland flying. Here's another interesting thing, that the Russians, they were, I don't know if the word's occupying, but anyway, they were here in the area in about the mid-17th century, like 1740, 1750. And anyway, after 100 years, the fur trading, which they came for and stayed for, after that 100 years, basically all the sea otters and all the beaver and a few other animals were pretty much depleted. It wasn't worth trapping anymore because there were just so few to be found. And that's fishing was always there, and that remains a primary occupation even to this day of people in Wrangell and Petersburg and whatnot.
It's a nice area.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Probably not a lot of people around here.
No, not a lot.
Sound like there's too many animals either because the dude's trying to kill them all.
They might have made a comeback. I know the fish did, but that's I'm trying to pace myself. I don't want to just talk nonstop. So
You're good.
I have a fish story coming up here fairly soon.
You're doing better than the Microsoft one.
Yeah, right.
To be fair, that Microsoft official flight today, if any of you were in it, there were too many people in that. It was unflyable.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
How many were there?
I'd have to guess because the entire group of name tags was changing completely every 3 seconds for me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's like
Yeah, I was in it. They said somewhere about 50 or 55 people at least.
That sounds believable, yeah.
Yeah, I think 50 is the limit of what you can see.
Yeah, but there were more than that.
Well, that's quite
I
something.
understand it.
The real trick is to fly without the gamer tags.
Landing gear.
Yeah,
Landing
but, well,
gear.
because
Landing
the
gear.
guys have put.
Landing gear.
I think they
Landing
put the
gear.
mod in the
Landing gear.
channel,
Landing gear.
but where you can
Landing
get
gear.
the
Landing
tags,
gear.
turn them on and off.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
So that way,
Landing
like,
gear.
if you're trying to
Landing
land,
gear.
you can turn them
Landing
off,
gear.
and then if you
Landing
want them
gear.
on during the
Landing
rest of
gear.
the flight, you can turn them on.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
But is that assignable?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's
It needs
on.
to be.
Yeah,
Does it have a default key?
default the F11 and F12, but there's a
Landing
new
gear.
update now that uses the F12 as a toggle.
Landing gear.
Awesome.
Okay, good to
I'll
know.
have to keep that in mind too, because I lose track of the leader all the time.
So
Yeah,
we're
it seems to
from
work pretty
Wrangell.
well.
Especially after Rome today, I kept losing
That's
track.
just
He's
called
saying,
making
"Oh
positive
yeah, right down there on my
contact
left, on my
It's for
left, on
safety.
my left." Oh,
Yeah.
that's your left, not mine.
Positive
Good
contact.
to do, man.
So we're just coming over Wrangell. I've gone over the town, and you can kind of visualize where
Make sure
maybe a
it's nice
lake
and
might have
firm on the
formed if
ground.
it's low tide.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's right.
It's a nice little
Welcome
town.
to the gun
This is
pilot
where
air
the
show.
Wrangler genes come from.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not.
So just testing the
Makes sense.
gears, the landing gears.
To popcorn, somebody released a sound mod for the Aramaki. It totally replaces all the sounds with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it adds a lot of like every feature that you can add acoustically in the sim. Sounds totally different, and it doesn't blow your eardrums away like the default.
And the have the
Well, we're
developers
just
said
zipping
anything
along.
about it?
It's we're covering a lot of ground.
About the mod?
I don't know. They just
More to
it doesn't
come.
use any of the default
That was
files,
butter.
sound
Oh,
sound
beautiful.
files. So uses some other kind of sound engine on WWYs or something. He instantly beat my score.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that developer was having some issues with
And Trent will come along a little
figuring
while
out
and crush it.
like how to do the new sounds. For which challenge? Yeah,
Oh,
Flight Sim.
yep, yep, because that's
when they just dropped
Fox Tech
Trent.
Jackson.
What's that?
So
Jackson.
they,
Yeah.
you know, once
Yeah,
they figured
Jackson.
it out, that they're playing.
Trent, I did the
they're
same
still
thing
figuring it
randomly
out.
here. Buttery.
Yeah, because
beautiful.
autopilot on the
It's
on
almost
the
one of those
Canard
moments
is,
where you impress yourself.
they've taken it
Yeah.
off.
I didn't know I could do that.
I just had a meter for that because that was just. They've also enabled Canard airplanes to work now, so I guess they're probably gonna.
Well, you guys,
Yeah,
I did try to pick
redo the
smooth
flight model
runways
of that
for the
plane
most
as well.
part for you.
It's like as soon as they released it,
nice.
Sobo was like, okay,
Oh,
well,
great.
let's add in the Canards now.
Yeah.
So just added 2 or 3 more photos, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit. All right, Waldo, you're going to have some people.
Great idea.
There we go.
Is that our target?
Well, No. Well, yes. Sorry, I guess I go back to see what I've worked to notice I was taking off, but anyway. Working two computers.
Okay, yeah.
Let me go back to the one. So, the top one, which I can talk about since we're here at Wrangell anyway. The water that you saw as you on approach, we're basically looking at the high tide with all the water, whereas in real life the tides come and go. So I've posted a photo showing what it looks like at low tide, and so that is basically a view of the delta of the Stikine River, where we're going next. We're going to be flying up the Stikine
make
River.
that one, Gunny.
And
I think the undercarriage just hit, didn't it? I'm still flying.
Like a mud flat with very shallow.
I'm flying with
water.
the face track on, so it makes it a little bit harder.
Pretty much extends all the way here to Wrangell. And
what were you trying to do there?
Probably enough. I can say the rest once.
The normal loop off the runway.
I was able to complete mine.
I had my face track on, and I'm still getting used to that.
Maybe the doctor to get on the runway.
That's got to be
everybody's
something
now.
else to do.
Okay, yeah, very good. So as we're flying along here, we see obviously a lot of water, but yeah, you can just kind of fly out. Post it shows what it looks like when it's at low tide. I'm facing so the estuary here, the Stikine River, which we're approaching, and then as we round the bend towards it's basically a haven for migratory birds, both in spring and in the fall. So there'll be hundreds of thousands of ducks, geese, and swans that stop off here for their migration. But also of interest, and I've seen this, in April, this area of Wrangell, it has the largest concentration of bald eagles in the world. As many as 1,600 arrive, all in this very area, right off the right wingtip. These mountains, they're just in the trees everywhere. They're down on the delta in the mud. They're circling up ahead. They're just bald eagles for as far as you can see.
So you think it's like snowing, like there's snow on the ground, but it's actually bald eagles in the trees.
Yeah. Well, snow and hail if you happen to hit one. So we would skirt the area quite a ways on those brief times, and basically why they're concentrating in such a large amount is because it's a little fish called the Euchelon. It's their migratory run, and so there's just untold, I don't know, I'm making up a number, probably millions of them, just tiny little fish that the bald eagles are feasting on.
Okay.
And since we're at this area, I mentioned fishing before in the past in the 1800s. At one time the Europeans, well, and actually the indigenous people used fish traps, but the Europeans, they went overboard and put fish traps all throughout the mouth of the river here, and they did that so much that severely damaged the salmon runs and depleted that stock for quite some time. So in the late 1890s, the fish traps were banned, and by that time it was the U.S. The USA owned Alaska, and so they were the ones that instituted the ban on fish traps. And that's all I have to say about that. So we can just enjoy the scenery for a little while. I'm at 2,000 feet. I'm going to be descending because coming up here shortly. Let's make our way down to like 1,000 or 500 because we have a touch and go event coming up, or an opportunity to do a touch and go anyway. So we'll kind of get in position for that. But it's a beautiful area to fly in.
Landing gear, landing gear, landing gear.
We get behind Tolstoy.
Oh yeah, I guess I slowed down as well without advising. But you might as well start slowing down because I'm just starting to see our target, and Let me see. Yeah, so one of.
Gear down.
Pretty sure that's it. Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
that little strip of land right underneath you?
No, it's up ahead of me. It's an island. Just as the river takes a bit of a bend to the east, you'll start to see an island. And there's a wide white beach on the left-hand side and a narrower one on the southern side. So you can take your pick. The southern side is a bit more challenging. It's plenty long. I mean, there's plenty of room for touch and go. It's just not as wide. That's all. So
touch and go is not landings.
Yeah, just a touch and go, just to keep the time moving along. Originally, it was a landing, but I modified it. There's plenty of room on the far side. A bright white beach, and then there's the beach, a narrower one on the south side of it as well. So just a touch and go, and we'll continue up the river. And it's plenty long to land, bring your flaps up a bit if you want, add power, and plenty of room to get airborne again. And that's on the, the right-hand side of the island. The left-hand side is probably 2 miles long.
Thanks, Waldo, with the Prime Twitch Prime sub. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
It's a bit of a hump, and then away we go.
Gotta scrape your wheels on the water to slow down.
Oops. Now, one of the other photos I posted with a little bit of a murky, cloudy look to it, that was taken right along this stretch of the river just before, I don't know if you can see exactly where I am, but it's probably taken about right from where I am, the big kind of S turn of the river.
In winter conditions.
Are we landing right next to the river? Right over
And the other picture I posted while I was there on the ground, it's just basically of a straight line. So as we're flying along here,
up on the left.
Yeah, it's on the left. But as we're flying along here, look down, and it's after you take the corner. Like I'm just banking right now. See how far behind you guys are. Anyway, I'll describe it and you guys can take a look. As you're taking the bend, it's on both sides actually, but it's more pronounced on under your left wing. You'll see a straight line running right from the water, right from the beach, up through the trees and straight up the mountainside, and that is the U.S.-Canadian border.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I posted a picture of that also. I think I posted a second ago.
You can definitely see it.
And I could definitely tell your second picture
yeah.
spot on that we're in that area.
Oh yeah. So let's see, we're just approaching. We're going to follow the river for another minute or two, and then we're going to be arriving at our glacier destination, not destination, but just our next point of interest.
Too far ahead here.
Well, if you see a lake with a glacier, just do a circle or something, because that's where we're heading. We're heading in that direction.
Farther ahead from me.
Looking good, Trent?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Trent?
Just flying loose formation with them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trent flies loose and fast. Of course, I'm not watching where I'm going. I was heading towards the hills there.
Oh. Come on. Well, that's that for you.
So we are approaching what looks to be a lake. And in fact, it is a lake. It's a glacial lake formed by the runoff of the glacier that we're approaching. And now this lake doesn't look particularly blue, but there will be one off the left wing, which has a nice blue tint. Although we actually might be just below it. I can't even see it. It must be above 2,500 feet or something. But anyway, sometimes when you see lakes that are really stunning blue or turquoise. Oh, there I see one coming up there on the left-hand side at a higher elevation. Anyway, that is caused because there's silt. Although that's, I'll continue my story. I was going to say that one doesn't look like it's caused by a glacier, but it is up in the hills anyway. Yeah. But there's sediment in the water which changes how light is refracted, so the blues and the greens become more pronounced. So we're going to turn and fly up the glacier.
Have to land here.
Yeah, we're going to land not at the very top of it, but there's a big, wide opening area near the very top. And
landing gear.
We'll do a landing there.
This spot where I'm at right now is just made for landing.
Oh, is that right?
Wow, this looks amazing here.
It does.
Now, on 2 occasions, keep in mind I was at work, so I couldn't exactly be gallivanting. I think we have, this is not on the route to Wrangell, but twice we just did a quick little flyby up the glacier. Only to that lake area. Love to fly. Do you want to make your way? I've never flown up the glacier towards in real life, east. But don't tell the boss, because here's the plan. This is such a wide open area that I think it'd be a lot of fun. It would have been awesome to do one huge formation takeoff. We were kind of taking a detour on the boss's dime as it was, so I'm just going to position myself.
What the bosses don't know won't hurt.
Yeah, that's what we figured.
Didn't have GPS tracking back then.
No. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've come to a stop.
Fall in on Tolstoy. That's from my
quite a
military
fascinating
days.
area.
Hey, they gave me free food tonight at the old Olive Garden for all the baby killing I did in the army.
Oh,
the earth,
nice.
Including a glacier.
Yeah,
not the baby killing.
Whether it's frozen water like a glacier or just water running.
It's sculpted them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that chicken parm tonight was worth telling.
The background here.
Nice. Yeah.
The plate
Tolstoy, I think you
tectonics too
disappeared
is
there
pretty
again.
wild.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I know. So guys can start slowing down. I'm back. You're back. Do a landing just in this kind of. Anyways, yeah. So just wherever you figure,
flat
you know,
area.
make a just fall
I'm
in a
kind
nice
of,
V,
you see, I'm
or
kind of near the
you know,
Line or something.
we have
kind
so
of
much,
the
we have so much room.
northeastern
We might as well
side
just
of it.
try
I'm
to
just
do
gonna kind of loop
something
around and come back in and land.
not quite haphazard,
You know what, we
but
could
maybe a
almost land
couple
anywhere,
lines.
really, but we're going to take off going in that direction, so
Or
I figured just for fun.
anything
We'd,
anything you want. It's just for the
do
takeoff.
whatever you
Once we
want.
get
We're
in the
going to
air,
end up
maybe
we're going to end up parking.
over, I'm sure we'll fan out a bit anyway, but
regrouping right about where I am now.
we're going to go see
which
some
is
more
at the
glaciers.
northwestern end.
How about we create different lines and then be like basically line 1 goes first, then 2 and 3.
Yeah, okay,
So,
that sounds like a good
I'm
idea.
just going
Okay.
to
All right, how many people are in the line?
start reducing airspeed.
I see.
4 wide, 5 wide.
Yeah.
We're down eventually.
Sizzlin, Ashen, Osiris,
Come back
Bumpy,
around
and
here.
Trent. Those
Who
4
needs
people
gear?
could line up. It's all bumpy down Next one could be Gun
You
Pilot,
down already?
Veer, Super G Cruise, Love to Fly. So just move forward, Ashen, move forward, Veer and Tolstoy and Trent.
Okay.
Do the next
do
leg
that
on the
with,
ground, dude.
From the drone.
Yeah, that's how I was looking at it. I mean, I like driving this thing. You can drift
there we
it
go.
and stuff a little.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Veer's in line. You're good. You're good. You may have to turn around, Veer, but you're going to be in line too.
So you can pretty much land anywhere you
man.
want. I mean, it's such a wide area.
Yeah, pull up a little bit, Gun
but I'd
Pilot,
like
and
us
Super Cruise
to
pull up.
Group together.
And Control
back
Freak, you go
towards
ahead
the
and
northeastern
into that
kinda
line
edge
too.
of it. Sorry, I just pulled forward a bit.
You're fine.
Because I'm still in.
You're cool down there. I lost oil pressure back a while and my engine shut down, so I'm just catching up. But I just flew over the whole line of you.
And after all that, I
Yes,
forgot to
I
tell you the
see in
name
the
of this
sky.
glacier.
Oh, you're
All
fine.
right, so
I know.
Fire.
And it was the
RC
first
Pilot,
line I
pull
started
up
talking
into
about the Kake
line
instead,
2
but
there,
anyway,
right
it's
next to
called
Veer.
the Great Glacier.
Whoa, did you see
It
that?
is in the province of
That was
British
me.
Columbia.
Yeah.
And it was
Just for the
designated
effect.
a provincial park.
Just
Yeah,
getting
I
some
like
ice for my drink.
Go ahead and pull up Winter Band 2
Okay, who's
and
calling
get,
it?
get
Are you
next to
calling it?
somebody.
Yeah,
and
sure.
N69.
I'll call it.
Go ahead and pull up. Try to get next to the
Okay,
left
power's up.
of Gun Pilot.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Okay.
Kind of 3 or 4 lines.
Basically just, I might have to bank a little bit to the left of that mountain, but
Also,
I'm
I
back to, yeah, don't worry, because I hit control in the sea. Yeah, I need to get back on my airplane. I'm in the drone right now, and I'm losing track. So I'll just back up for
I
a
had
second.
clicked off of the screen, so then when I was
Sorry
trying
about
to take the parking brake off, it wasn't working. Yeah, so on Friday, Tolstoy's not doing the next one. It'll be here.
The Blue Angels, we are not gentlemen.
No, it's not because Tolstoy's
no,
away.
especially
No, not
It just happens that Beer's doing the next one.
Not like
My girlfriend was
like
cracking
4 or
up on
5
that one.
without breaking sweat.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
give
can
you guys a
Anyway,
heads up. Mine isn't going to be nearly as good as this.
from
Tolstoy
here-
did his homework, man.
Oh, no, you'll be fine.
Following
You can do
that-
some more work. You'll be fine.
Following
All right, so I don't know about the
flight plan
off
route.
in the lines. I think we should just do it all in one
For a little while
shot,
till we get
and then
back
just
to
try
the-
to, as you're
the
taking
river.
off, keep your distance like it is between the other planes around you, just for a minute or two.
Yeah, see, we're going to go straight. Let me just make sure my brake is off. I don't want to.
Hanging
I was going to say, everyone, put your
Yeah.
parking brakes on, power
Just
right
once you
up,
get over-
on
once
the
you
count
get
of 3, parking
over-
brake off.
to the
Yeah.
left.
The
I think it's
ridge.
the left.
So
Ready,
parking
guys?
brakes on, spool the engines up,
Because my flight
put them
plan
to the
has changed,
firewall.
which leg is active, so
Oh,
left or
oh,
right.
I
Go
Well,
3.
we haven't made it towards.
Oh, wait a minute,
waypoint 10
wait,
yet.
no.
So waypoint 10 is in theory the next waypoint.
Oh, that's how they labeled. Gotcha. That's much more sensible.
All right, so now we see quite a vast snowscape. I made that up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's true.
But it's we're back in the
Sound like
US of A.
dogs, dude.
Yeah, we're back in the good old US of A, and all this white and glacial action you see here, that is called the Leconte Glacier. And it is quite long. It's 21 miles long. And it's named by a U.S. Navy lieutenant. He didn't name it after himself. He named it after a Californian biologist. So who knows what his name was, but he named it the Leconte Glacier. And I don't have this fact written down, but I actually remember it, that this particular glacier is the southernmost glacier, well, it must be in North America, that actually makes its way right down to the seawater. Yeah, so we're just going to do a little bit of a curving flight around here just to get a hint of what it looks like up here with all the glaciers, and then we'll make our way back down to the river valley.
Yeah, I said it a while ago, not too many people live up here. I bet not many live in this area.
No, I bet you're right about that.
This is what people from America think the entire of Canada looks like.
I was just about to say my igloo's right there.
I'm not being a jerk. I mean, we're that uneducated.
So I remember I was in Virginia a couple of years ago, talking to a guy from Xfinity. He's talking to me about their internet speed. I said, man, that internet speed is slow. I said, back home, I get like a gigabyte per second. But I said, the thing is when I want to go on the internet, I have to turn on the modem. We gotta let it run for about 5 minutes, let it warm up, and then the internet slowly kicks in, and then it goes to super high speed. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, well, it's like so cold up in Canada, like, it takes 5 minutes to warm up the modem and the internet. Wow. I was like, no, dude, come on. Like, really?
You gotta warm them bits up.
Yeah.
If it's a diesel.
You got a turbo you gotta warm up in there?
If it's a diesel.
Landing
Yeah,
gear.
diesel generator.
Yeah, and you got your whale oil.
Lined up for something at Expo 86 in Vancouver outside downtown. And the Concorde did a flyby and like kind of went through some of the buildings, and so everybody was staring up, of course. There's a couple behind us from California, and they said, what's everybody looking at? We see airplanes all the time. We live right by an airport. The Concorde.
You can't impress us, okay?
It's just
What
an
it's supersonic. Big deal. Hey, oh, come on.
Well, my screen is
the
frozen.
DC-3
Oh, it
down
just
here?
came back. Just came back. I've lost connection, but I'm flying at least.
Yeah, or just fall on the line.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much just following the line back down to the river.
I think Wobble's got the right idea down there.
Is this you in the DC-3 in this new picture?
Oh, yes. So I just posted 2 or 3 new pictures.
Dude, that is so cool.
So that's one of the DC-3s I would have flown up in this area. And let's see. The other one is just showing a shot of the river.
That truck is classic too, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been 1993 or so, 93 or 94. I was here over 2 winter, not the entire winter, but over the winter months of those 2 years.
Wow.
And
I was gonna say like 2013, just to make it sound more recent.
Tolstoy is unbelievably old. It's okay, guys.
Well, you'll find out why it wasn't in 2013, because I'm about to begin my spiel on Bronson Creek and the gold mine. Because basically, guys, this is the reason why I made this flight plan. is because I thought, well, what's different? What, there's great scenery everywhere, but I wanted to do something that, I had a little bit of, I don't know if it's an attachment to, but certainly some, history with. So that's kind of why I made this flight plan. It includes Wrangell, and it includes Bronson Creek, which is where the gold mine is.
It's awesome, sir.
So, but I'm gonna take a breath, just pace it out a little bit because I have a little bit of flying to get there. Not much. We're nearing the end of, well, not the very, very end, but the end of the actual route, and then we're going to double back in some fashion before long. But right now we're just going to go back down the Stikine River and then hang a left up the Iskut River.
That part is where we put the sandbags on the back of the plane. We put it into blizzard mode.
Yeah.
Hey Tolsta, did you guys go by glacier back then too?
Did we fly by the glacier?
No, I was wondering if your call sign was glacier.
Oh, I think so. Well, you know what? I don't think so because they didn't. If you're talking about CMA, I only ever flew with them for this cargo stuff, and we just used the airplane's call sign. We didn't use the airplane's registration. We didn't use a call sign, but I think that they still had that, or they did have that call sign even then. But I never did any of their sked runs, so I'm not sure.
Cool. Yeah, I think they go by glacier right now.
I believe so. Yeah. I also worked up here with Air North from Whitehorse. Depending on who got the contract for any given years, it kind of changed hands occasionally. So I was also up here with Air North when I worked for them. So that was kind of fun coming back down here to a place I had already been, but with a different company.
But on a mining note, there's a YouTuber exploring abandoned mines. His name's Frank Schlitting. He's from British Columbia, Grand Forks, I think it is. You gotta check out his channel. Some of the mines he goes into are just ridiculous. Like nobody's been into them for like 100 years.
Wow.
This kind of reminds me of that. You've seen that show, the Ice Pilots?
Yeah.
They fly out of like Buffalo. So, just looking at that DC-3, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know all about Buffalo Airways. Believe me. I flew there for 2 months.
Is that the same DC-3 that Indiana Jones jumped out of, or no?
Well, if it's DC-3, it would be, yeah.
Dude, it looks exactly just like it in that movie, where it jumps out of the shaft. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, I can't remember the exact movie, but I mean the exact one.
And the picture above that's a huge hovercraft?
Oh, yes, I forgot. So we're just, but before I get there, so we are just going to make our way up the Iskut River. So we're hanging a left towards the east, and the Iskut River joins the Stikine right where we are. So the Iskut River is where a lot of the gold rush activity happened. There were 2 or 3 gold rushes, and like in this area, I mean, and so even to this day there are still mining interests who are still considering and looking and deciding if it's worthwhile. But for a while there, the gold mine we're going to, it was in operation for not quite 10 years. So from 1991 to 1999 is when it was in operation. So that's where we're heading. So you brought up the subject of the hovercraft. So the gold mine owned that hovercraft. So they would use it to transport their bags. I wouldn't quite call them bags of gold, because you'll see the bags in a second. I'm going to post another photo. They're like 3,000-pound big huge bags, but they were called gold concentrate. So it's rock that they
the final step.
They couldn't quite get,
Landing
there were still
gear.
remnants of gold
Landing
in
gear.
that
Landing
ore,
gear.
and so they
Landing
sent it
gear.
away to Japan to be processed. But before they did that, they actually also did produce gold bars right on site. These were not terribly pure. They were a semi-pure alloy of gold and silver. You know, probably about 75% gold, and then the rest silver and maybe some other elements. So, but as you can imagine, it's a lot easier to and cost-effective to transfer a 40-pound bar of mostly gold versus umpteen thousands bags of 3,000-pound, you know, basically gravel, crushed rock.
I also heard that they lost a whole load on a DC-3 and then the pilot retired shortly after.
What do you mean lost the load? Oh. Well.
I'm sure he
You mean
retired
lost-
out of shame.
Yeah, I think he flies a lot of flight sim nowadays though.
Sorry, I don't understand. You mean that someone, a shipment of gold went missing?
Yeah, it was a white and red DC-3. The pilot
Yeah.
flying
You guys, you'll all have an option of what you want to do for
got
the
away with it,
to
and
Wrangell.
then he retired shortly after.
Okay, I'm only a little bit. I'm just I'm only just a little bit slow on the uptake there.
Sure, sure you
It was
are.
a long setup, man.
But it's down. But the thing is,
a couple more.
there were
Actually, 4 more.
the
Hope you
re-
don't
the
mind,
reason
Sam. I
why-
never really did clear this with you. But
when you
yeah,
said
no, here,
a
you're
DCC
good.
was lost,
As long as it's
lost,
cleared with
my mind was
company.
on
Well,
other things. I guess I can bring it up now. With the
Okay,
fact that
Josh,
during
quit.
that 10-year period, there were
They're
8
trade secrets from like 30 years
plane
ago.
crashes. Well, hey, all of this stuff is online. I mean, maybe they're basically all from at the mine or to do with the mine. Oh, so you guys, I didn't tell
You
you
were a
that
part of
I've
hiding them, weren't
I've
you?
been silenced pretty much
You were part of
hosting. I did my best not to contribute to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Sure,
are
yeah.
8 plane crashes. But you guys, I forgot to tell you the most had to do with transporting. One of the most interesting things is how much gold did they dig out of the mountain? Gold concentrate, the big bags of gravel. I will tell you. But they some of them were pretty minor. They were able to extract one off the side. About 1.25 million ounces on landing. One had a fire. But there were 2 very serious at that time. I believe it was the most productive gold mine. Those were certainly in BC and possibly in Canada. And they were both with, but it must have run out because they stopped operating. One of them I flew, 99, and one was a DC-4. So basically, if you were to come here right now, the mine is shut down. They flooded the bottom third, the bottom kind of that third of the mine, and the rest of it
Were they people you
they
knew?
plugged. Yeah, so that nobody
That's
could get into
unfortunate.
it.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, I mean, it was a number of years afterwards.
And
I
the thing is, going
was
there
there in
on the
93 and
weekend.
94. And I think one happened in so it looks like most of us are, sometime here. So, so guys, here is, anyway, we're actually getting close, we're getting close to the, you basically have, oh, Citizen Link, you're not here yet, mine.
Yeah, I'm just on final.
Okay, so I'll keep on talking because you're approaching kind of a little bit of a gap. We're going to give you the option 2 hills on one side point on. We have one more leg to do to get back to Wrangell. The airport, as I just beyond that, describe it, and it's going to be a working. I'm going to fly over top. So in other words, we are going to see where it is. You guys, if you've had a chance to go around and look in, or big white bags. That's right. Those are bags. Based on a right base right now. Each way I'm going to go 3,000 pounds. So the DC-3 it could take 2 bags. You'll see it anyway. That was as many as we could take. Anyway, so to get back to Wrangell, it's a long, long runway. There's no issue. As you can imagine, the weather wasn't always great, but we flew anyway. As long as you're just on the right-hand side. Anyway, so option 1, clear the gap, is going to be between those hills. Basically scud running to the back to Wrangell, following the river. So we'll set the weather way down, and I guess basically cross our fingers and hope we make it to Wrangell.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Well, what's the name of that mine?
But okay, and then the second option is called do that same route, but maybe just not have the weather, the place we're at. And the third route, I would like to post one more photo. It's been a minute, I think. The
So
third
it is
route is you can
shaggy.
basically follow the flight plan line, which is almost a direct line, and go up and over the top. Which is what we did when the weather
Yeah, I
was
think so.
when the weather was nice. We would go up and over the top of the mountains, and it would really save time.
Well, Waldo was just asking which.
The faster we do the route, the more we get done in one day.
Mine is it? The name of it?
Sometimes we only did one or two trips if the weather was bad, but I think my record was Kamenko owned 2 days in a row. We did 7 round trips, and it's called the SNP. The SNP was in April.
Okay.
That was in April when the days were longer because we could only fly in the daytime, as you can imagine.
Well, I pulled out the notes,
Like
so I said snip gold mine, but then I just wanted
Anyway,
to make
the
sure
third
it's
option is just flying overhead.
yeah.
No, that's it. Going direct to Wrangell. Oh, good for you. Thank you for being the backup there. For all of you who are interested in lowering down the weather, we'll kind of do that together.
Yep.
I can't guarantee that we are going to have the same weather when it comes right down to it, because I just don't know how each sim will show the same thing, but it'll be a good start, which I don't remember, but anyway, it's here. Sorry, bear with me one moment. I need to wait for my connection to come back. But if you go into your report, just off the top of my head, no longer has if you go into an identifier your menu options and select weather. It hasn't been in operation for 20 years. The mine has not been in operation for 20 years. They've reused the
Or are you thinking something worse?
identifier.
I think he's got something worse.
Snow, 3 feet of it.
Yeah.
Storm.
I propose, and like I said, I've lost my connection again. Oh, it came right back. Okay, and again, you can change it to whatever you want. You don't have to make it as bad. But you start right at the top, get organized for our departure. Bring down the menu and select snow. Yep. In real life, we would go to the right and do a nice. I don't know what timing you guys have, but I guess anything immediately left. I'm still midday myself, but it's fine. Snow depth 50 would work quite nicely. Aerosol density to the left, I think, is default. And you guys, one thing I did mention is precipitation. Bring our speed back. Let's bring that back to like 10. Like probably not more than 200 knots, somewhere between 150 and 200 knots. I know, but I honestly, I honestly don't know. Gets bad, then it's best to do. But I've tried to make a compromise between having it bad enough but also good enough. If you know what I mean.
Keep going, Tolstoy. This is off.
Okay, temperature -5.
Okay.
And so that should take care of everything on the right-hand side. Now,
I've got
you see on the left-hand side the settings with altitudes,
like
clouds, and whatnot.
So I'm just following the all of the call names.
Click on the second, the middle cloud.
No good.
How thick is it for you guys? Just get it up out of the way around, about 20,000.
It's like foggy for me.
Yeah. Let's see. Mine's very clear, but I can see the fog coming in very, very
So move your second cloud on the right.
Yeah,
There's 3 of them. Move the middle one up to the round.
Anyway, if you guys, if it comes to it, just hit your escape. Now select the bottom one. Pause it, increase the weather, and if it gets the blue line up to like 15,000, I'm going to go down to like 500 feet. And I should have mentioned the bottom blue line, drag it down. You can use your artificial vision, 1,000 and 1,500. Your map, I don't really think it may kind of stay over the middle of the river. That's sort of. I'm going to get mine around 1,000 just to do it. So,
thank God for the Garmin.
Does anybody have any questions on the settings? Okay.
Which way to go to carry it?
1,000 pounds? No, we're carrying 6,000 pounds over the river in the DC-3. Use your synthetic vision. You guys, one more. We have to change. Pop outside. Once we say the outside clouds, we then had more. So I'm down to like 150 knots because the visibility is pretty bad.
Which one are we selecting? The bottom one, sir?
It'll probably speed up a bit.
Top right.
Of the 3 clouds.
Yeah, the bottom cloud. Yeah.
Sir, the bottom cloud. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so then you see on the right-hand side column says coverage.
Good.
Set it to like 45.
I just got a feel I'm gonna smack right into the
and then scatter, set it to the same. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but that possibility exists.
It's just getting too easy.
It's like
just wait.
like in Africa when I ran over
Okay,
that rock.
so I think we have
Wasn't
everything set. So
expecting
now,
that
guys, I
bang-
just want to tell you
bang.
that I've tried this run several times. I've tried to tweak. Hopefully, no one hits. I've tried to tweak these weather things, and it's different every time, no matter what I do. So I can't guarantee really what you're going to see. Edge in place. But what will likely happen is, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing pretty good conditions right now. Water is best. Heavy clouds in the distance and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just
But
behind
before
that
long-
easy name tag, you should
Yeah,
be
but
right.
before long, it's going to come down. There's going to be snow squalls and whatnot. So we're on a pretty straight stretch. It's definitely doable, but it might
We
have
did
to
this
get
in
kind of low.
DC3s.
Well, this is
so in
worse.
other words,
I would say just plan on flying at 500 feet. You might have to get even lower than that during those spots. I certainly did my fair share of but it will clear up at 1,000 feet, and it should be fine. So yeah, I descended down to 600 and see the river again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Really, 500 feet. Does anybody have any final questions before we?
I do. You talked about gold. How much gold do we put on here going into the weight? Adding. What are we adding to the
So I'm
side?
just curious. Are you guys in cloud? I'm just clear now.
Well, because you can go into the weight and the rear bag.
Okay.
You can add a couple
These little
hundred
things are
pounds.
so much more
gold.
maneuverable.
we
How
probably
much
could.
do them stacks work?
You must have been on the edge of your seat.
Your tail dragging there.
How much? Yeah. I'm loaded down.
We
right
would be
now.
flying this at probably.
I got more
you
than
guys,
that.
speaking of the, I thought I heard someone say about de-icing. Yeah, make sure you have your de-icing systems. And I don't know if we did that. Which might have been at like 120. I can't remember exactly. But
Took one of them gold
in any
sacks.
event,
How much did they weigh?
at a speed one of those figured we had a sufficient margin to maneuver in tight quarters. So this is why they did use TBM as their cargo certainly did fly with
You could
less
put
than
1,000
ideal
pounds on
visibility,
there, though.
but probably never so much that. Okay, guys. Any final questions? Are we all set?
Hey Tulsa, just
For
one
example,
question about the weather again. I just want to clarify
I
here.
did
The bottom layer is
during the course of those 2 winters. I did
between 10,000 and 14,000, something like that.
round trips. Oh yeah, good point. I don't think I mentioned the upper layer. So yeah, the lower level
and no scotch.
Is like around 1,000 feet at the end of the day, and the upper level actually up to around 15,000. I don't even think. I don't remember having any anything
So
to
the cloud
drink at
does
the
go all the
mine.
way down to 1,000 feet.
Because sometimes we stayed overnight at the mine, and sometimes we stayed overnight in I was finding that it was just too easy if you didn't really get a good solid. So out of all that time, out of all those trips, in addition to doing either way, it's just all 297 round trips, and who knows what you got to see. My logbook, but there were 10. I guess we should head back to Wrangell, where we, as we say, we're burning daylight. That's an actual thing we said. Went back to where we had taken off. We wouldn't waste time on the ground. We need to get up in the air and fly, so we could do another trip. We turned around and went back and landed at the mine. You guys are all set? We just couldn't proceed any further. We'll blast off. So 10 times the trip was all right. Aborted. Yep, here we go.
Take off.
And the weather looks
I see in the
end, so I
Twitch
think
stream.
we'll just plan on doing an immediate left
one more
turn.
noob was asking where this was. Just said, so it's in Alaska. We just left Snip Gold Mine and we're on our way back to Wrangell.
Yeah.
Actually, I spelt that wrong. There's a R after the W.
Oh yeah. And of interest, there's also a Wrangell is on Wrangell Island, and there's also another Wrangell Island in the Arctic Ocean, but that's spelled with only one L at the end of Wrangell. So I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. Anyway, I don't know about you, but we're having a nice little break in the weather, but I see another one coming up here in a few minutes.
And let's not forget the sharp turn to the left.
That's exactly true. I was looking backwards. No, see, now we're joining the Stikine River. We're exiting the Iskut and joining the Stikine.
Landing gear.
You see, that's why you can't lose concentration when you're doing this kind of flying. I mean, I probably would have noticed that, oh, I have to make a turn here, but just at that moment, was that you, Veer, or who was it that
Yeah, it was
gave
Veer.
you a reminder that, you know, you can't lose concentration with bad
Clouds
weather
hit
like
just
this.
that time too.
Yeah.
It's nice to see all those strobes in front of me.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going faster than I planned, but you guys are keeping up nicely, so I think we might just keep on going. Now I'm getting kind of low visibility here. I'm gonna start.
That's where we have to turn.
Why does she keep saying 500?
I think we lost Tolstoy.
500.
Yeah. Oh, we lost.
Down
Tolstoy.
under 300.
At 150, it's pretty clear.
Well, it does tend to get better. Am I back?
Yep.
It does tend to get better lower, but of course, that does involve danger.
Coverage option, boy, that's the difference between day and night.
Is it?
Percent of that, yeah, it changes the whole thing, you know. When you said before 45, we were like, oh, come on, dude. But 45 is plenty.
Yeah, you guys, just so you know, when I first tried to develop, well, what am I going to do here? I had it at 100% because I didn't know what these settings would involve, and I must have done this trip at least twice in full bore fog. It wasn't fun. I thought, no, I can't ask people to do that. That's ridiculous. That's no fun. So I tried to tweak it where it kind of came and went a little bit. So just to give you an idea. Yeah, I'm hanging out here about 300 feet, and it's oh, it's opening up though. Well, good. Now I'm in the total clear. I hope that's the same for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just heading into it.
Hang on.
So we're really on the home stretch. We just have another couple of bends to do, and we'll make our way to Wrangell. But it looks like there's at least one more snow squall up ahead.
What's your airspeed, Tolly?
Well, I don't know why I'm speeding up. I guess I just tend to have a heavy hand on the thrust lever, but I'm at like 235 and slowing. I think what I did was when it came clear, I just put the throttle forward without even thinking about it.
Happy days.
Yeah. Like what is everybody else showing for an airspeed?
180.
270.
Okay.
I was doing about 200, 210.
And I'm still catching up.
Okay.
Well,
Wow,
now
this
I
is
feel
pretty.
like I
I
gotta
actually
speed
like
up and
this.
catch up.
It has a different look about it in winter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice scenery.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Makes it a really scary looking adventure for anyone who's a real pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was. We didn't kind of do these things lightly without, really giving it some thought. But on the other hand,
no regard to life and limb at all.
Oh no, we had several limbs of our own to take care of and lives, so we like I said, we turned back. I personally turned back 10 times because it just got to be. It looked like it was gonna be too bad, too much. Yep, exactly.
And back there, did you have much coverage for like ATC? Like
none whatsoever.
So if anything happened, you're SOL.
Well, the mine, between mine, the staff at the mine,
okay,
and the handlers in Wrangell, they would know when we were leaving and when we were due to arrive.
Okay.
So we would be relying on on them. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad here for me. I'm fairly low, and I'm having to look outside.
Yeah, you would have had a SAR watch running though, wouldn't you, Tolly?
Oh yeah, no, we had, and we would have had our timing going. We would have had, after having done this trip many times in good visibility, we're also fairly confident of recognizing where we were as well. Oops, I see a bit of a hill coming up. No. But yeah, no, this is not, it's not something we wanted to do every single time, that's for sure.
One guy would control the plane, the other guy would go in the back and fill his pockets with cold dirt.
Well, you guys, I did some research. I got a bit low. I did some, during this research, I had no idea how much gold was in those bags. But in doing the research, it looked like there was probably, believe it or not,
1 ounce.
about 1 ounce. I know. I mean, maybe no even idea less at the time. But each one of those incredibly 3,000 pound small amount of dirt, of all things considered.
Yeah.
Which,
well, I guess that way,
at first I thought that
it was very hard to steal.
Crazy.
Couldn't get that 1 ounce of
I can't even believe we would do all that work for that.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I know it's something similar to that.
Then I read another article, solid, and that's where it was like that they actually maybe processed gold bars right there on site, and then it made a bit more sense.
No way you could steal
that. Probably 70% of their gold they process right on site with their various methods of extracting gold, and so it was just the residual rock and whatnot where they still knew there was gold in them dar hills. The snow looks nice, you know, still gold in that rock, but they couldn't extract it, and so
I
all
think
those
maybe
bags
that's why I went to
that we took into Wrangell, they were all then shipped to Japan for final processing.
If I had the 3 screens with the snow,
I hope the weather is better at Wrangell,
I didn't realize
because that's kind of the hardest part of the whole trip.
But I'm keeping it like this.
Oh, it looks like when you take
close.
that head towards the left-hand coast.
Say Marco, we'll say Polo.
Hug the coast off your left.
What was
wing.
that, mate?
Yeah,
I think the
you say Marco,
better,
we say Polo.
and you at least have a reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my frame rate's almost non-existent.
You're down to. I'm using the Garmin to help me out.
I'm down at
you guys are
trying to stay out because as soon as I go up, it's just
and then
when smack my face
knocks my frame rate out.
Instead of down.
I'm waiting for an abominable snowman to throw a snowball at me off one of those trees.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it looks like the weather is pretty bad in Wrangell.
It says unfortunately.
No, but I mean seriously, because sometimes it was good and sometimes
we said
it's
it
not.
like this. We're our own enemy.
Well, anyway, so just don't fly directly at that airport tag, but keep it off to the left a little bit. And I'm way too fast.
Yeah, that was
because the airport's going to come up very soon. Well, thank you. I hope it might be 2 strobe lights. A little bit of something.
It didn't lay
for everyone. And it's pretty thick.
I didn't use the autopilot.
I'm just going to start to look for. Oh, it's opening up a little bit.
Same here.
I see the strobe lights.
Remember that sign is in the middle, 2 miles away. We should start to see the 2 runway and strobe light markers at some point. But I'm just going to have to, I guess, do our best. I don't know why it makes the weather at Wrangell so bad. Yeah, this is pretty difficult.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I can't see a
but
thing.
I can't even see the runway.
There is an ILS there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there is an ILS. Yeah, on 10. Okay, I swung wide.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there they are. Oh good, it opens up just in time.
Stall.
Oh, another.
Stall. Stall.
Then it closed it again. But I see the strobes.
Oh.
It's a long runway.
Touchdown.
I tell you, this
was
weather
very
flies up
exciting.
my frame, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yep. 'cause
Excellent-
the
excellent
flight
plan.
plane. Yeah, because the flight plan looks like it's like 30 minutes, but it isn't because
Well,
you've got
I'm
all
down.
these things.
luck,
that,
everyone.
to look at.
Yeah. Oh, so let's see.
Well-
What is the
well
time?
done.
So that's not bad.
And
We're
I've lost
just
my connection, so I
barely
don't
over
see
2
anybody
hours.
yet.
So.
Yeah. No,
But
well,
that was,
good.
man, I'm telling you, non-stop from kind of my point of view. It's just on the go.
Barely
go,
made
go.
it in, but I
Yeah.
made it in. With 1,000 pounds
Now
of
the
dirt in
weather's
the
opening
back,
up.
baby.
Nice. You earned your
Oh,
keep on that one.
Obviously,
No,
the
not
sun,
last part.
the sunset.
No, I mean it
And
was
then once I move up just
it
a
was
bit, it's gone.
quite challenging.
No, seriously, thank you. This was wonderful.
Yep.
You did awesome.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad to hear that. You enjoyed it.
For a short trip that seemed coming into it just to be a dinky little thing, it turned out to be a knife-edged run at the end.